says live, so I guess I'm live. Okay, y'all, I am going to make poor man's lasagna as promised. I'm starting this weekend to do the live videos since everybody seems to like what I make and says wow, ooh, and ah. First, you're gonna have your basics. I'm using ground turkey. I have veggies, green pepper, onion, and garlic. They're just staples, you have to have them. I'm using canned mushrooms tonight, but you can use fresh if you like that too. These are just simple. Pasta, there's nothing special about it. I got a big bag of it from Costco, so it's cheaper. For the seasoning on the meat, this is actually a no salt seasoning. Trust me, I'm using salt. But with the no salt seasoning, it comes with a lot of like green peppers, red peppers, a lot of different dried veggies that make it taste great. Again, Costco. This is the salt I use, and pepper, and of course oil for anything that you need. So let's start cooking and get things going. Like I said, this will take about 15 minutes to prep, so it's really easy if you're busy. I've already pre-washed. You want to make sure you pre-wash your veggies and make sure your area is clean. I've also pre-started a bread. Since this takes a little bit longer than 15 minutes, I've started this so that you can see how the bread is done, start to finish. We'll actually preheat the oven. So I'm preheating to 425, and with the meat, I always rinse it first because I don't like the bloody gooiness. So I'm gonna rinse this and then we're gonna just throw it in the skillet and start cooking this, okay? So, as this starts, we're going to add the meat and we're going to start adding our veggies before we turn it on so that everything can cook together, because that's how you're going to get your best seasoning. Hi, Brandy. You got to come up here soon, Brandy, and see Michelle. I know she's coming up here soon. All right. So let's start cutting. Nothing special about the cutting. However you like your veggies, if you like them thick, if you like them thin. For this one, let me rinse off these seeds. Because the kids are eating them, I make them a little bit thinner because if they see them, they think they're eating something horrendous because it's grain. And they get a little fussy. And then if you have any questions, let me know. Hi. And I'll slow down if I'm going too fast. But this is the best meal, I think, for just about anything. If you want something quick and you want it to seem kind of impressive, like you actually put a lot of work into it, this is it. Again, my dad did this when I was little and I always loved it. And it's like a souped up spaghetti soup and a simple lasagna. Garlic, I truly believe there's not enough garlic in the world in any type of food, so I am not shy when it comes to putting in garlic. If you like less garlic, that's fine, no worries, just go be you. But I like plenty. I do not put the whole cloves like some people do. I do like it diced up. And I found the easiest way to peel garlic is like I'm doing right now. If you smash it down, it just peels right out much faster and you have less struggles. I used to, before I saw a chef on some cooking network do this, I used to try and peel it piece by piece, and that took forever. So as you can see, it goes really fast. And don't worry about your mess, clean it up later. It is definitely yummy, Brandy. It's one of the things that Michelle really likes when she comes over. I think she likes everything I make, but onions, same thing. I typically use about a half an onion in everything I make. just because the flavor always cooks down. So if you need more, if you really like onion, use more, but everything I make takes about a half an onion. And I use these sweet onions for, yeah, pretty much everything. Again, if you want to use a dicer, I have a little dicer that I use. You can use a dicer, but I'm just showing you this because if you have just simple things in the house, you can still do this and it'll turn out phenomenal. All right, so there's our veggies with our meat. And then again, before I cook the meat, it's got to be seasoned. If you do not season your meat, this is not going to taste very good. Some people say less is more. When it comes to meat, it's so non-flavorful plain that I put plenty. Again, that's the organic, the no salt seasoning here. And then I add the salt because, well, it's got the salt. And my rule of thumb is if you can't see it, you're not going to taste it. If you're making something like meatballs, if you can't smell it when you smell the meat, then it's not going to taste like anything. So you've got to be able to see it and or smell it. And I started the water a little bit earlier, so I'm going to just boil the pasta. I'm not making homemade pasta tonight because that takes definitely longer than 15 minutes, and this is to learn how to do a quick meal. And if anybody's wondering, that's just a 1 pound of meat. You can use any meat in this. If you have leftover sausages in the fridge, if you have leftover steak, if you have leftover any type of meat in the fridge, you can use that and it makes it just go that much faster. Tonight I didn't have any leftover things, so I just started with some fresh ground turkey. All right. Now, the mushrooms don't come until the end actually, so these will go when we actually start to make the pasta. And let's see, we're gonna check on our bread. All right, so this is the bread that I told you I was gonna start baking, so you can see it's nice and risen up there. I pre-did this prior to going live because it takes a little while to rise. I'm gonna let it rise just a few more minutes while the oven finishes preheating here. Remember, when you're rising, you wanna keep it in a warm area. You don't want it, because it won't rise correctly, and then you wanna keep it covered. It likes to be dark. Hey Jim, I haven't heard from you in a while. So the bread's rising there, and again, I just put it in a simple glass dish. I will line it with parchment paper. If you're making bread, parchment paper is your best friend because it will not stick. So invest in some parchment paper. I get mine from Costco in bulk. And then if anybody has any questions, ask, please. I will answer those as they come in. And then you can use any sauce you want. You can make a sauce. Again, this is a really fast dinner, something that you can do right after work and your kids are screaming, or your husband or spouse or your stomach is yelling. This will get done in about, like I said, 15 minutes. It's still actually even a little frozen in the middle. It's not a bad thing. So if your meat, like this one, is a little bit frozen in the middle, just put a lid on it. The steam will actually defrost it with a quickness. And it'll help those veggies cook in. The more flavor, the better with this. You just can't have enough flavor in lasagna. You've got to have plenty. And so that's all cooking right now. Oven's just about ready, so we'll start the bread process so you can see that. There's nothing better than fast bread. This bread you can have done in about an hour because it takes about 30 minutes to prepare itself. And then after 30 minutes of the rising, you just throw it right in the oven. It's done another 25 minutes. So if you want to make bread fast, it's super easy. I use 4 cups of flour for the bread. I use just plain white sugar, 1.5 tablespoons, and then yeast. I use the same thing, 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, and you just mix it all up, throw a little oil on it, and cover it up. It's done. Yeast, remember, if you're using yeast and it's not just one of those instant packs, keep it in the fridge because if yeast is not in the fridge, it will not rise as much. Hi, BJ, I miss you. So you can come. Now with your pasta, if you don't want it to stick, always do oil. Oil makes it not stick while it's boiling. Some people put salt in it. I don't think that does as well of a job. So I like the oil in the pasta. Your meat is cooking. And now let's get the bread bowl ready and lined up. All right, again, parchment paper, nothing special. Costco is your friend when it comes to bulk. If you're having to cook a lot. I don't even oil the bowl because the parchment paper makes it non-stick. So it is just the easiest thing to do when you're making bread. All right. So you can see here we have a nice fluffy, ready to go bread. And if it's too sticky on the edges, add a little more oil. I always use a silicone because it just makes it easier. It comes off easier. So I just throw a little bit of oil on top. Gets around the edges. And then it comes right off. So you can see. Now you can do a couple things. So you can knead it in, right, with that, or you can use your hands. If you're going to use your hands, I do suggest putting oil on your hands, only because it's going to stick to you. Some people use flour. I just do the oil. And then to make that nice pretty circle, you just kind of push it in like this, and you stick it underneath. See how underneath is kind of going into it? So you put the bread into the base, and then you get this pretty look on the outside. Pop it right on your parchment paper. And then you have a choice here. If you're an olive oil person, use that. If you're a butter person, use that. If you want chopped garlic, parsley on top, now's the best time to do it. It'll bake it in. The flavor will be phenomenal. I'm going to keep this plain, so I'm just going to do a little oil on the top. And the reason the oil is because it gives it that crispy crunch. You know when you go to the store and you get that crunchy bread, hi Tiffany, crunchy bread, and then it's really soft in the middle, that's what does it. With this, because the bread will break automatically if you don't, I cut it. You can make designs with it, or you can just cut it. I just go down 4 cuts, because I like to keep it simple and just get it cooking. If you want that artisan look, I think that's how it's called, add some flour to it. Just take your flour, put flour right on top, and it'll bake up with that flour look. So if you want, I'll do that so you can see. That's all they do. They charge extra to make it look pretty by adding a little extra flour on top. So go like that. You got your flour on top, and when it bakes, that flour will stay just like that. So we'll throw this in the oven, and we'll just get that bacon while the food is going. Now let's get back to our meat and get this all mixed up. The meat smells great. Again, I kind of put it in a little bit frozen in the middle here. Not a big deal. It will still taste the same. And you're going to mix in, again, I have only here, I have the green peppers, onion, and garlic. And for those that joined a little bit later, I use 3 cloves of garlic because, well, I like a lot of garlic. You can use more if you like. I just don't think there's ever enough garlic. If you don't like the fresh veggies, just use your regular dried garlic, you know, that comes in these things. Just get some garlic powder and some onions, and you can throw those in there. It'll taste the same, just a different look. That's the only real difference there. For the green peppers, again, this is another reason I use this, because this has the dehydrated green peppers, red peppers, carrots, all sorts of other flavors in it. But don't forget your salt. You need salt with everything. This does not come with salt, so make sure you've got your salt. All right, and this is literally just about done already. So we're gonna go check on our pasta now. Our pasta should be just about done, and then we're gonna add everything in, spin it up, and it's gonna be ready. There's no baking like you do in a typical lasagna that you put in the oven. This is poor man's lasagna, so it literally comes right out of the pot into your bowl, and you're ready to eat, which is why I think my kids love it so much, and I like making it because it's super fast. All right. So, these are about 2 minutes away. So I'll strain those in about 2 minutes. Strainer out. All right, and if anyone has any questions or if I'm talking too fast, tell me, I will slow down. This is my first live video, so I gotta get the hang of this somehow. I've already pre-drained all the mushrooms. Again, you can use fresh mushrooms if you want. If you do use fresh mushrooms in this, I do suggest cooking them with the meat so they don't kind of come out raw, because if you just add them into the pasta like I'm going to do these, then they'll have that raw taste, and it's not everybody's favorite to eat raw mushrooms, especially kids. If you're making this for the kids, I'll probably spit it back at you. All right. But I like the flavor of the canned mushrooms. You can come over anytime, BJ, for dinner. My house is always open. You just walk on in and come on in and sit down. I will feed you. All right, for the cheeses, let me show you. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. So I like this blend. It's a 6-cheese Italian blend. It's really good. It comes with mozzarella, provolone, Parmesan, Asiago, Romano. I mean, it's got everything in there. So I add these, and then I always add extra Parmesan because it's just good. So I add Parmesan. Let's see how our meat is doing. Yeah, this is ready. Now I'll try to bring this over so you can see. But you should be able to see your spices. You should be able to smell them. All right. If you can't, you didn't put enough, and it's not going to taste very good. All right, I don't care what kind of sauce you have, your meat's got to have some flavor. So with that, we'll turn that off. And ground turkey is also a really good alternative if you're looking for low calorie-ish. Well, I don't think the cheese is going to help, but at least it makes you feel a little bit better. All right. These should be ready. And I'm just using baked ziti noodles. It doesn't matter whatever noodle you want to use in here. Whatever your favorite pasta noodle is, or you want smiley faces for the kids, just throw them in there. Because the noodle's a noodle, they all taste the same. And we'll get ready to drain this. with any pasta dish, butter is your friend. So I'm gonna actually switch sides here. And I'll see if I can bring this closer. This is a new little contraption I got, so you can kind of see a little bit better when I put everything into the pot. And if you're not a big salt fan, you can use non-salted. Again, I believe in salt, so I use the salted butter. This is the salted sweet cream butter from Costco. For you guys that know me, there's 7 of us in the house, so I think just about everything from here in this house is Costco. All right, so I've done my butter, my mushrooms, which I pre-drained. These are not full of fluid, trust me. All right, those are ready. The meat is ready. Another good thing about turkey, as you can see, there's not a ton of grease. Oh yes, I know the kids love Kids Zone today, BJ. Nick was on the floor yelling with you, or with the cartoons. So you can put it right in. If you want to drain it, go for it. But again, you're not really draining much because the ground turkey doesn't have a lot of grease like regular hamburger beef does. Alright, so we have that in. I'm just going to mix my mushrooms in here real quick to the beef. So you can see this is actually a little hot. Alright, so you can see in here, it's just your beef and kind of looks like a, what's that, steak and cheese setup is what we're doing. Now we're gonna, now that the beef is ready, we're gonna add our pasta. All right, pasta's in. Mix this up together. This way your butter keeps melting as you're mixing all this up. And again, whatever your favorite spaghetti sauce is, use that because that's what's gonna make you the happiest when you eat this. All right, so now you can see I've got the meat and pasta ready to go. Let's add our sauce. I do a traditional ragu. All right, and then, oh, one more cheese. We can't forget the best cheese of all. Which is ricotta cheese. You don't have lasagna without ricotta. So you've got to have your ricotta cheese in there too. I use the part skim. If you want to use the whole milk one, you can. This is just what I use. And again, less is not more here. More is more when it comes to cheese. So, get this in here. And so this is like, just like lasagna, except for the fact that you're gonna eat it from the pot versus baking it up. These bags of cheese are, what, 8-ounce bags. So your basic bags. If you're worried about putting too much cheese in, start with one bag, mix it up and see where it goes. So, and again, I'll try and bring it over so you can see. This is the start of the process. Hello, Mrs. Allen. Alright. Now the reason I'm mixing the cheeses up first before the sauce, because they're so thick that it really helps. As you can see, it's kind of splattering everywhere, to get them mixed up before you start adding the sauce in, or you're just going to make a hot mess all over your stove trying to mix in that sauce. Alright. So you can see everything is mixed in. And now we're going to add our ragu. Well, I use ragu. It's simple, it's good. I haven't had a real bad ragu. I think one of my favorite ones is the 3 cheese. That one's really good too. But this is just the original because, again, Costco, get a 3-pack, cheap, easy, quick. All right, so after the sauce went in, you can see it is slowly coming together here. But again, my opinion, it's never enough cheese, so I'm going to use about a half a bag of the second bag, and then I'm going to add some Parmesan for that extra flavor. Parmesan is phenomenal when it comes to flavor, which I have about a half a bag here. All right. So, mix, mix, mix. You can see, I don't know if you can see, I'll try and, let me move some of my mess that I'm making here over and see if you can see this. So you can see how cheesy and creamy that's getting, and it's thick, it's not runny or anything. So this is it. This is your poor man's lasagna. Everything is ready to go in the bowl, or in the pot rather. Just keep mixing and make sure you get all that cheese mixed together. And again, if you want to start with a little bit of sauce at a time, if you're worried about how much to put in, as you can see, I just kind of pour. But I think it's because I've been making this for so long now. And you literally just pop it in the kids' bowl and it's ready to go. And they will eat this to their heart's content, I can promise you that. They love it. The bread is just about done. I will take it out and show you where we're at. As you can see here, and like I promised you, the flour just kind of sits on top, but it's not quite ready yet, so I'm going to leave it in for a few more minutes, and then it's ready to go. When I'm ready to pull this out, as I said, parchment paper is your friend. You literally just lift up and it'll come right out. It's non-stick. So use parchment paper when baking bread. And that's it, and your dinner is done. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you can make poor man's lasagna at home, and I'll save this video online, so if you want to repeat the video if I spoke too quickly, feel free to do that, and have a great night. Bye.